Our next speaker leads a team of some 1,400 people in some 55 countries. And he is a man who's used to getting what he wants. Legend has it that 30 years ago, when he was offered a job at a leading law firm, he said, "I'll take it if you give me a personal computer on my personal desk." Ladies and gentlemen, he got the job, he got the desk, he got the computer. The best kind of man or woman to try to bring peace and prosperity. Please welcome Brad Smith, President and Chief Legal Officer of Microsoft.
Thank you. That PC is an antique today, believe me. Distinguished guests, it's a real pleasure for me to be here this afternoon and to represent Microsoft. Microsoft was one of the earliest signatories of the Global Compact. In fact, we were one of the very first companies based in the United States to sign that document. And as we gather here and really commemorate the legacy of Nelson Mandela, it's exciting to see how far the Global Compact has come. It's also, I think, important to recognize how far we still need to go. Because as the Secretary-General said, we live in a time when we've made substantial progress in so many areas, but some of our challenges remain more daunting still. And I think more than ever, they are challenges that will require the business community and the private sector to step up. Indeed, we come together at what I think is an interesting moment in time, because global companies appreciate, perhaps as far too few people do today, just how important it remains to kindle the spirit of multilateralism to address the problems of the world. It's the leadership of the United Nations family and so many others that the world has looked to for over 7 decades. And yet, as we look to this next decade, it will take more stakeholders from every part of society to come together. Over the last decade with the Global Compact, I think many of us in business have found new ways to contribute. We've found new opportunities to innovate. Certainly at Microsoft, it has inspired us to think about how we can use technology to help solve the problems of the world in new ways. That's one reason we announced this morning a new initiative called AI, or Artificial Intelligence for Humanitarian Action. It's a $40 million initiative that will bring the power of artificial intelligence and the expertise of data scientists and financial and technology support to the United Nations family and to nonprofits around the world. It will focus on 4 important priorities: the needs of children, refugees and displaced people. It will focus on human rights, and will focus on disaster relief. Just yesterday, the World Bank announced an important cornerstone of this kind of work, because Microsoft, Google, and Amazon all came together and joined together, despite the fact that most days we compete with each other, to bring the power of artificial intelligence to help the United Nations family better predict families and famines and better move food so it can be where it's needed. This is just one of many examples of where we can use new technology. It's why our AI for Humanitarian Action program builds on another program called AI for Earth that brings technology and data science to nonprofits and universities and startups focused on climate and other environmental issues. It's why it builds on AI for accessibility, to use the power of artificial intelligence to improve the lives of the billion people on this planet who have a disability. Technology can be a game changer. It also, I think, stands for something even bigger than itself. It stands for the power of what we can accomplish when we find new ways to work across borders. Across national borders, as the United Nations has always done, but across new borders as well, in a way that brings the business community together with nonprofits, with governments, with the United Nations, and others. I think we have all learned a lot since the Global Compact is launched. We have even more to learn in the decade ahead. Most importantly, we have more to do. And I think that's what those of us who work in business are used to doing, rolling up our sleeves and finding a way to get the job done. This is an exciting time to think about what the next decade can bring. Thank you.